4th and goal to go with the 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
Here is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
We just did that. But, so now to add a little bit of depth, okay, it's like the Giants cut Korie Black, and while he was out there, right, he didn't, they just picked him up. He was on the practice squad. Now the Giants returned serve and brought Korie Black back, right, because, we definitely need some depth. That's for darn sure. We just banged up in the secondary, and our wide receiver, a couple, between Slayton and Malik Neighbors, we got some injuries there, but so is our secondary. So we brought our 7th round pick back. Okay, so, but I'm sure he's happy to be back because now he's on the roster, right? And there's another thing it says in this article here. It says that it's never, if somebody decides, right, to sign with another team, even on their practice squad or whatever, you don't make nasty comments or anything. Oh, okay. It is what it is, because you never know. You never know, right? That's like when you're playing for somebody, right? You're playing for a team. And you might have you're working with an assistant coach or assistant coaches or something. Well, right? You never want to do something bad, get some bad blood going, because you never know, right? You see, somewhere along the line, your career might, whatever, start wandering off, right? And you're still playing. Well, one of those assistant coaches that you maybe had a problem with, somewhere along the line, right, becomes like a head coach. Right? And then maybe they want, if you cause bad problems, maybe they may not want to have you on their roster. Right? So you never know. Right? You never want to burn any bridges or nothing like that. So, Korie Black left, went for the Jets. Okay. Well, now they want to bring him back. So, but he hasn't really played a whole heck of a lot. Right? All right. Giants injury scramble ends with an ironic rookie return nobody saw coming. Back in black, as they say. Much like last season, injuries are starting to pile up for the Giants. Shocking. The roster that opened the 2025 campaign already looks much different. Some injuries are manageable, but others pose much bigger problems. And that's exactly where Big Blue stands with the $54 million free agent cornerback Paulson Adebo and his knee injury. Unfrickable. 26-year-old suffered a knee injury in the third quarter of their game against the Broncos. See, that was another one of the things still, right? In the third quarter. And right after that, we put Banks in there, and that's when they started going at Banks, and that's when they shortly after that, they wound up scoring their first touchdown. Because remember, it was 19-0 going into the last quarter, right? Paulson Adebo was out there. They didn't score any points, right? Adebo was listed as questionable to return, but he never made it back, leaving head coach Brian Daboll to lean on Deonte Banks, and that didn't go well. Out of the Week 8 clash with the Eagles, it looks like General Manager Joe Schoen is turning to a familiar face to help shoulder the workload. Per the Athletic's Dan Dugan, Big Blue is bringing back 2025 7th-round pick Korie Black, who scorned the Giants by signing with the Jets after being released during roster cuts. Here's an example of why you can't carry hard feelings in the NFL. It's the greatest team sport, period, to me. Right? But it is a business. Don't take anything personal. Okay? The Giants are signing cornerback Korie Black to their active roster off the Jets practice squad, per source. A 7th-round pick by the Giants this year, Black made the initial 53-man roster, but he was waived. Welcome back to East Rutherford, Mr. Black. The rookie was drafted by the Giants with the 246th pick overall in the 2025 draft. After a roller coaster training camp, he made the initial 53-man roster, only to be cut the next day thanks to Schoen's questionable roster gymnastics. Though it was to keep him on the team during the first wave of cuts. When released him the next day to add cornerback Rico Payton off the Saints IR list and re-signed Black to the practice squad, but the Jets sniffed out the magic trick and swooped in to steal the 7th rounder right from underneath them, signing him to their own practice squad. Yeah. I don't know why, they had, for some reason, they had their reasons why they wanted Rico Payton on the roster, right? And they were willing to let Korie Black go. But I guess they thought somebody wasn't going to swoop in and pick him up. But it was a bizarre sequence, and when asked why he left Big Blue for Gangrene, he told the New York Post it was just business. To be honest, you never really know. Anything could happen. I could have stayed there and something could have happened. I could have came here and something happened, so you really never know. And sure enough, something happened. Use whatever bridge cliche you want. Water under it, none burned, but the relationship wasn't strained enough to stop a reunion. It was a funny full circle moment for the former Oklahoma State star, and it might come with a bigger role than expected. So once again, he went to the Jets. It's all water under the bridge. He went to the Jets. You don't want to burn any bridges by just start saying all nasty things and everything like that, right? Because you never know. With Adebo likely out and Banks struggling to cover much of anything, Giants fans might see another rookie make his debut in blue and white on Sunday. And it could wind up being one of the more interesting comeback stories of the season. Now, let's see here. Black was drafted by the Giants, right? He made the initial 53, but he was waived on August 27, 2025. 2 days later, on August 29, 2025, Black was signed to the Jets practice squad. And then the Giants on October 21st, 2025, Black was signed by the Giants off the Jets practice squad. Now, once again, he has to be on, if you're signing somebody off the practice squad, it can't be, oh, we're going to take him from their practice squad and put him on our practice squad. Nah. That's not the way it works. You take him off somebody's practice squad, he's got to be on your active roster. He's going to be on your 53. I think it's 3 weeks. I think. Doesn't mean he's going to dress, but he's going to be on the 53. So that's a little bump of pay. I forgot what it's like, $14,000 or $15,000 a week. Oh, what a bummer, right? If he's on the practice squad, okay. But he's getting a bump in pay, at least these 3 paychecks, right? To be on it. So if he's making, I don't know. Well, let's see. If he's making, say, $800,000, right? 1734. All right, let's make this easy here. 1734. Say he's making $850,000 a year for a 7th round pick. That's possible. I can look, but just make it easy. I'll show you in a second here. So let's see here. 850,000. Whew. 850. Okay. Divided by 17, or is it 18 paychecks? I'll just go 17 game paychecks. It's $50,000 a game. Okay. So he's getting the practice squad, I think, especially if you're just a rookie, if you're a veteran who's had so many years of experience and you're on a practice squad, you get a little bit of a bump in pay. But somebody like a rookie or whatever who's on a practice squad is making only like $15,000 a week. Yeah. Darn, only $15,000 a week. Jeez. But, you see here, right? Can you see? There you go. Right? If he's making $850,000, as I said, to be fair, I don't know if it's 18 paychecks he gets because there's a bye week, or if he gets it might be 18. But just to make things easy, right? He's getting $850,000 a year, right? For 17 game checks, he's making 50 grand a week, just to make it simple, right? So if he was on the practice squad, he's only making about roughly around 15,000, I think. So, he's making an extra 35 grand each week. Now he's got to be on our roster, okay? Or he's got to be on. He's making an extra 35. So he's making an extra $105,000 over 3 weeks. So if he makes it, if he winds up, if he gets dressed, okay, we'll have to wait and see. Have to be interesting is that maybe if Adebo doesn't go, maybe they have to bring Korie Black on. We'll have to wait and see. The one nice thing though, okay, is it's not. Oh yeah, okay. He's not trying to learn a whole total new defense. Okay, he was with the Giants all spring, all summer, training camp, and all that and everything. So he is familiar, okay, with the with Bowen's system. Okay, so that's a plus. So he could get elevated, and he could get a uniform, but we'll have to wait and see. A lot of it, once again, I think depends upon Adebo, right? But one thing, I mean, it's going to be very, very interesting this week coming up again, especially in the secondary. All right.